What's up guys, Nasser coming at you with a different type of video, talking about a game that we've talked about many times on this channel, the one that probably some of you are getting a little bit tired of me talking about, but we're going to be talking about it in a different way, and also some new things that I didn't talk about in a video because I thought I talked about this, or I thought I saw some of this, but then I found out no, like some of this is like stuff that I didn't even know about at that time when I made my last video when Spectre got her reveal trailer on the official DNF Duel YouTube channel. So first of all, I'm just gonna go ahead and preface this video. What I'm probably gonna title this is what Nixon, the company that makes or is in charge of DNF Duel right now, Nixon, Nixon, what they need to do to fix DNF Duel. And the reason I say that is because I've already seen some of the things that they're doing going in that direction of getting the game in a better state than it currently is right now. So let me not waste any more time, let's talk straight about it. So what I think that they need to do is they need to change up the game, because obviously the main reason people aren't playing it, the main reason people aren't having fun with it, and the main reason it only got like less than 100 people playing it 90% of the day on Steam, at least, I don't know about on console. Main reason is that the game is not fun to everybody. The online main problem is the online isn't bad because it has a rollback. The rollback isn't terrible. The main problem with it is that there's not many people on because they don't like the way the game plays. There have been a couple balance patches since like the main issues where everybody was like, bro, Swiftmaster's broken. They toned that down, and then they gave us a balance patch after that to adjust everybody. So we're kind of like still at that point where there needs to be some adjustment of characters a little bit, but not as crazy as it was before, right? But then at the same time, there's also just flat out, we want more characters, we want new things added, and a whole bunch of other stuff with continual balance patches. Because if you don't know, that's the thing fighting games nowadays need. They need constant updates. They need constant additions and things that are new, that don't reinvent the game, but keep it fresh in a sense. And depending on what state your game is in, you might need to do more changing of stuff in the game, like system mechanics and stuff like that. Sometimes you can change it just without it quote unquote being necessary, just to freshen up the game for the users of it. Like how in Fighters there was constant changes of what was allowed to be moves for characters, and then they took them away or toned them down, or just flat out changed how they worked all together. Same way with the game that I would, I guess, compare to DNF Duel, which is Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V, as we all know, at launch had one of the worst fighting game launches like DNF Duel. Except Street Fighter V's went on for way longer than DNF Duels has so far. And the main reason that, you know, people now would be like, yeah, Street Fighter V now is an okay game. You know, it's kind of built up that positive reputation that it did not have before, was because over the time frame of the game being the main Street Fighter game, which I don't know how many years that was because I didn't keep up with Street Fighter V. I like loosely kept up with it, watch stuff about it every now and then, but I wasn't keeping up with it because I'm not the hugest Capcom fighting game guy. I just keep up with some of it. But basically the reason that it was able to go from terrible game, nobody wants to play it, everybody's dropping it, to now it's a game that gets fairly good response and engagement, and maybe even has a decent sized player base playing it currently, is because they had to work to build the trust back with the community that they basically kind of screwed over, being Capcom. They had to change stuff about the game, add stuff to the game, and just overall basically make the game what people wanted, while at the same time giving the people what they wanted in terms of just overall changing how the game played. Because from what I heard, it was just the game was not what people wanted, and they did not like the game that they did get. And then it took Capcom some couple months to years to eventually start getting things into a state of where now people are like, okay, they're adding dope looking characters to the game now, everything looks sick, and it's like, and the game plays differently than it did before, with maybe some new meters for characters or new just mechanics for stuff, and just changing a lot of it and basically reworking it so that now the game is in a much better state. And I feel like that's what DNF Duel has to do, and that's kind of what I'm talking about right now, because like I said, I've seen DNF Duel start taking steps towards it. I have it right here on my other screen because I saw this during the Arc World Tour, not the live event, when Maximilian was basically going back and looking at it, because I didn't watch it because I wasn't paying attention to the exact day, and I was like, if something big comes up from it, they'll upload it to their channel, or I'll hear about it and I'll make a video on it, right? Because I've been talked about Spectre and I looked at her reveal trailer, like I said at the intro of the video. But what happened at the World Tour that me and my homie JD, because you know we be chilling in Discord calls and shit, ironically it's normally around the time some fighting game shit pops off that we didn't even plan on being in a call for. We just like, fuck it, we're in a call, and then oh hey, Max is streaming, let's go look, and then oh shit, this DNF Duel Arc World Tour live stream, they showed off some shit that I didn't see anybody talk about. The other person whose video I saw talk about the World Tour was Lotus, and he was more or less disappointed just because Spectre is not coming out for a while. But there was some stuff in that live stream that I don't think I saw in his video, and he might not have talked about. I'm not gonna say for 100% certainty because I can't remember, because this was a while ago and I watched the video. But there's some stuff that I'm looking at right now that I did not see him say anything about, and it was like, whoa, wait a minute. So the first thing is Spectre is coming out on the 20th, not the 20th. There's no date. It's summer of 2023, which we all knew that because that was in, I'm pretty sure, the reveal trailer on the DNF Duel on that website YouTube channel. But the thing that I did not see anywhere on their channel at that point, and it was at the Arc World Tour that they announced this, they're adding a new awakening system. Like brand new awakening system that's not in the game right now, and they're just adding brand new systems to the game, along with continual characters being added in fall, in winter, and 2 characters so far being added in next year in 2024. Now we don't have dates for any of these, but the fact that we're getting continual support character wise through the game, they already I'm pretty sure we're talking about a balance patch. That might have been for fighters, I might be tripping on that, but they were for sure talking about continual updates. So you add those updates with the new system changes and the new what is called is the cube selection that they're adding to the game. It's kind of crazy. I'm gonna make sure to throw all these screenshots up on screen so you can go along and read it with me, because I have it put up on my other monitor. I'm recording right now. I just decided not to put it all on the screen by default. I'm gonna add it in editing. But the new cube system selection is you select the cube from 2 choices before a fight, which decides your awakening effect. So the awakening effect that's currently in the game right now is more or less the thing of when your health drops below, like I think 30%, you get some slight buffs and tweaks and basically ways of making your character stronger, but it activates at a lower life percentage so that it's not something that activates earlier and you can use to come back earlier. It's more of a late, this is your last chance comeback mechanic, kind of like how in like in fighters you normally don't see people use sparking until later. Now the difference is in that game it activates manually. Awakenings in this game is something that you don't activate. It activates, like I said, when your health goes below 30%. There's an indicator on your health bar to show you where it is too. They're normally at the lower percent of the health bar where it gets like bigger. But the cube basically work as a material with magical power that is used to make skills powerful, and it appears when entering awaken effects. So basically when you go into your supers, it's gonna be a little cube, and I don't know if it's currently in the game, but a cube will appear around your character, and that's showing that you're going into your awakening effect. And give me a second to really quick to pull up the other page so I can talk about the cube selection, the 2 different choices. So right here it says there are 2 cube selections. There's a clear cube, which is an awakening effect which activates when your health is at 50 HP or less, so it activates at half health, versus, like I said, currently it activates at 30%. This one activates at 50%, and the clear cube awakening effect is weaker compared to the other one, which is called the gold cube awakening effect. So the clear cube activates higher than the default one currently in the game is. It activates at 50%, so half health, but it's weaker than the gold cube. And the gold cube is a powerful awakening effect that activates when your HP is 30% or lower. Some characters' original awakening effect will be applied to clear cube with more powerful awakening effects set for gold cube. So there's already some nuance here, because some characters' original awakening effect will be applied to clear, while some more powerful ones are going to be on gold. So some of them might be locked between clear and gold, so you got to pick depending on your character and depending on your playstyle. So basically the difference is that gold cube is stronger than clear cube. The difference is, like I said, awakening in this game is not something you manually do. It's something that automatically activates. The super that you do when your health gets to that point is the only thing that you have to activate. But the difference between clear and gold cube is clear's weaker, activates at a higher percentage, so you can go into an awakening state a lot earlier to try to turn the tide a little bit, maybe with damage output and other mechanics and stuff like that. Gold cube activates at that 30% HP, which I'm pretty sure is similar to where it currently activates, but it is way more powerful. So you already have two brand new mechanics, and both of these are currently in development. When the Arc World Tour thing was showing it for the first time, you can see it on the screen. So both of those cubes are basically two brand new mechanics that they're adding to the game to basically change up how the awakening effect works, because the awakening is kind of not useful in a sense, because yeah, it's useful in some scenarios, but for some characters it really isn't that good, because some awakening effects are just flat out not good for certain characters. So it's like, damn, you get the awakening effect, you get some bonuses, but it's like it's not really helping. There are videos like, I'm forgetting the name of it, but there's like a video with like 40,000 views on somebody talking about what DNF Duel did wrong basically from start to finish. If I remember to like throw an image of it up on the screen, I will. Maybe not. It's not that hard to look for. It's kind of like a recent video that's been out for like a week now, so it's fairly new. But basically in that, he talked about how the awakening effects is basically just kind of not good, like the ones that are currently in the game. And this was all before the Arc World Tour came out, so this was all him talking about how the game was currently, not talking about the game with these added bonuses. Because basically his thing he was saying was, the game's been out for a while, we're getting a new character not anytime soon. They're coming out in the summer. Right now we're in the spring, and it's like, yeah, we know we're getting other characters, but we don't know when they're coming out. We just got a rough time frame. And it's like, and like in his video, as far as we know, we weren't getting any changes to the game, no balancing updates that were like being talked about by the like developers of the game to us as the people playing it. So it was kind of like, you know, we're not really hearing much either. And it's just funny that he made that video, because now boom, we got cube selection, which is basically a whole new awakening mechanic that they're adding into the game to add some more nuance and maybe add some more usefulness to the awakening system that's currently in the game, and making it more rounded and more fleshed out, which is very good that they're doing something brand new system wise, which is very good thing that in my opinion. And then they have a brand new system, just a brand new system that we don't even know about. We don't even know what it's called. We don't know what anything on it, and all they call it is a new battle system will be added. You can see it on screen along with the new awakening effects. Keep an eye on upcoming updates. So we're getting a new awakening system, which I just went over, and like I said, if you want to go back and like reread it, because I pretty much read it, but if you wanted to look at it and try to get your own ideas for it, you can go back into the video and scroll back and go back to those parts. But then we're also getting a brand new battle system, which we don't even know what that could entail, because I was watching Maximilian talk about this. I was watching the guy in that video I was talking about this, and basically what a lot of people want is more air mobility options and less ground options, which the ground one surprised me, but I guess they did make the roll better in the game than what it was at launch, so I guess there's no need to add more ground ones, but they're like add air ones, because Max was like add like a short hop or a what's it called, a dash in the air system, an air dash, which I was like, okay, I could see that being good, because you know, stuff like in fighters you got air dashes and stuff, or you have the ability to block in the air, which, you know, the guy in the video I was talking about, he's like, in most anime fighting games you either get the ability to block in the air or dash in the air at some point, and I'm like, yeah, makes sense, because DNF Duel doesn't really have that. Like, your air mobility options are very limited, and I will agree with that, because they are very limited, because I've like played the game for a good number of, time now, and I'm not saying I'm the most in-depth with it, but I'm like, I definitely have played more than my fair share of matches to like fight matches and see how like you're limiting your mobility and stuff, because it's like, especially in the air, being in the air is a huge detriment, because being in the air basically just feels like if you go into the air and your opponent's on the ground, it's a 50-50 on whether you're gonna get hit or whether you do something to hit your opponent to basically now be able to land safe. Because there's, like I said, there's no air dash option in the air, there's no short hopping or anything like that. There's basically no way in the air of moving and trying to like get better positioning on your opponent while also moving just to like to bait them out. Because you know how like in fighters, for example, sometimes you might jump into the air to see what your opponent does, and you don't have to worry about anything in the air hitting you in fighters, because guess what, you can block in the air. DNF Duel, you can't do that. If you jump into the air for any reason in DNF Duel and your opponent's predicting you, you're going to get hit and you're going to get comboed. Now if they drop it, they drop it, but going into the air in DNF Duel is not a good strategy, because that's one of those things that will get you killed very quickly against a good opponent that knows how to combo with his character or has a lot of meter. But yeah, those are like some of the things that I was talking about when I was saying this is what they need to add to the game to basically bring life into it. Keep adding balance changes in terms of characters and stuff like that. Add new characters. One thing I would say that would really help this game, because this game is constantly, and I've seen this, and this is another thing that I like that they did, because it's ultimately one of the reasons I got the game, is they keep having these like 50% sales off of the game, and I talked about it in one of my videos, and it's a good thing to do. But at the same time, it's like, okay, the game's 50% off, but the game is not the same as when it was out originally, but it's not drastically different, It's like doing something like that after big balance updates and the big system changes, that's something you do. That's gonna get people to come into the game with a fresh eye on it, because it's like, okay, you've changed up a bunch of stuff about the game, Like I said, doing it is not bad, because you're giving a lot more people access to the game at a discounted price is really good. Like I said, it's ultimately one of the reasons I got the game and started playing it. But you gotta change the way the game plays. You gotta listen to the fan base, and a lot of people were like convinced that this game didn't have a plan in the long term, and now it's like, oh no, DNF Duel has a long-term plan, because they said they have up to continuous support for 2023 planned out right now. And it's like, not saying 2024 they're just done with the game, because like I said, and I showed y'all in the screenshot, they have specific things saying 2 new characters in 2024. So they obviously aren't just going 2023, we'll get to 2024 and we'll get to that. Like, no, we're showing you we have new characters out for, or planned for then now. And they might do it like a season pass. This might be season pass number 1. When those 5 characters are out, season pass number 2 comes out with more system changes, more balance updates. Basically trying to get the audience that they lost back and bring in people that maybe not tried the game. Because one thing I will say is this game came out at a weird time. Multiverses was the top thing at the time. DNF Duel was hyped, but then Multiverses and other big hype games came out and were also getting announced that other big games were coming out when Multiverses and DNF Duel were going on. So it's kind of like, you didn't announce this game at a point where there was no other fighting game being talked about, and then this game's the only one that dominated. It's like, no, you announced this game when Multiverses, I know I keep talking about it, but everybody remembers when Multiverses was coming out initially, there was a reason the game had over 100,000 people playing it on Steam at one point. That game was hyped and people loving it. It's not the same now, but you could tell when that game was coming out, everybody thought this was going to be the smash killer. I didn't look at it like that. I just looked at it like it was a fun game, and it was a fun game ultimately. They just, online wise and balance wise, just did not do the game the justice that it deserved to. Me and my homie talked about it. It was kind of just like, they didn't expect the game to be as big as it did, and when it was like, okay, now what? And then they kind of just didn't know what to do and didn't handle it properly. But I've already been rambling for almost 20 minutes. Let me know down in the comments what you think they need to do to bring life to this game and bring an audience back. Now, I'm not saying to make this one of the top games, but just get it a good audience, because this game is Multi-Blood. Multi-Blood is definitely a way better game in my opinion, but Multi-Blood in this game are definitely dope games. Multi-Bullet having a lot more of a fan base. This game being the newer one, being the one that just got its first game over here that's not a mobile game. It's like this game was a very ambitious game to start, and it didn't hold up to its expectations well. And like I said, it has a very Street Fighter V approach to it, but I think that they can do it because Street Fighter V can do it. I don't see just 100% why this game has to stay dead when they're clearly showing that they want it to succeed. Now, like I said to my homie, and I think I said this in the video, like one of my Dragon Ball Tenkaichi 4 videos that I did with my homies, the only reason, in my opinion, Street Fighter V got as much leeway as it did was one, it's Street Fighter. That name is gonna carry a game no matter what. Two, it's Street Fighter, so they're going to come back, being the audience, they're gonna come back and give it chances no matter how bad it is. It's Street Fighter and it's the newest one. That game could be terrible, but they know it's their only Street Fighter for a little minute, so it's like, you know, we'll come back eventually and see if it's better. You're gonna hold out more hope for that versus, like I said, this game that's got its first try over here, and this is the first time this company is that I know of taking on a fighting game like this with the IP that's mainly based on a mobile game. It's like, bro, this wasn't Capcom doing this, because if this Capcom doing this, people will have a lot more hope. They'll be like, hold on, wait a minute, Capcom's trying to, you know, do something new, you know, let's let them work it out and stuff. It's like, no, who's giving Nixon that type of leeway? Nobody. Especially nobody when it seemed for months when the game was out that they just weren't talking about anything. So it's like, I understand why, but it's like, if they can do what Street Fighter did and basically keep updating the game, keep bringing new stuff into it, and basically changing the game to what the player base wants, or at least a player base to get the game more people, I definitely could see this game being a Street Fighter V. Maybe not to the same level of it was bad and now it's great, now everybody loves it, it's talked about as a great comeback story. At least just get this game to the point where you got more than 100 people playing it. If this game can somehow work a miracle and get thousands of people playing it online, so you don't have to wait multiple hours to get one match to play, then I will call that a success, and I would love to see more people playing this game, because I have always said that this game plays dope. You can do some crazy shit in this game. It's just things like mobility and other systems in the game don't help it, because the game doesn't really operate kind of how like most people want their fighting game to. But that's nothing that they can't fix if if Nixon and their company over Dungeon Fighter Online really want this game to succeed. There's nothing that they can't fix without, where's the word I'm looking for here, as long as they do it properly. Like, if they need to take time to do some shit, just announce that and do it. But don't like take forever. Keep dropping updates and keep giving the game more support so that people have something to play. But like I said, let me know how in the comments y'all feel down below. I'm expecting it to mainly be negative, but hey, look, I'd love to be surprised by seeing some positivity for this game and hope for its future. But I'll see y'all next time. Like this video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.